Good morning, my friends. It is Wednesday, 9th of July. I'm here for my weekly cross-stitch update. My name is Emily. I go as Crafty Emily here on Flosstube, and you're very welcome to spend a little bit of time with me and have a look at what I've been stitching in the last week. I feel a bit pacey. I've had a bit of a morning already. It's 8:27 in the morning here in the UK in cloudy grey Cumbria. Hopefully this will lift and we'll have another lovely sunny warm day. I'm hoping, because the only thing Richard can see is, well, he can't see anything at all. What do they write? NLR, no light response or something. No, NLP, no light perception, which is terrible, really completely bloody awful. But when he goes outside on a sunny day, the dark gets lighter. That's it. So when it's a sunny day, he doesn't feel quite as awful as he does when it's dark and gloomy. So yeah, so I'm hoping it'll clear up and be sunny by the time he gets up. So I got up this morning in time to put the bin bags out. We have terrible trouble with seagulls here, and they eat our bin bags, which we don't get wheelie bins in this council, which is very strange. We have to put out special blue bin bags, which they will only take blue bin bags. So at 6:20 this morning, I was sneaking out with my 2 bin bags for the week, and the guy collecting the bin bags was walking down the road. I nodded at him, he nodded at me. No seagull damage today from our bins. I hate it when the seagulls rip the bin bags open, and they're bad. I had one last night when I was coming back from dropping Austin off. It was on pitting along a pavement just around the corner, and he was there like that, and he looked at me and he went eh, and then he went at the bin bag, and I was like, you bad seagull. I hate it. Beside the point. So I did the bin bags, and then I came through, I stitched for a little bit on Saga, watched a bit of Flosstube, and then Maddie came home from work. She's on nights now, and Flora went to school, dropped her at the correct train today, not the later train, the correct train, which was brilliant, because she doesn't always get the correct train now. And then I have just finished sorting the last of my Ko-fi orders. They are ready to go. So I've got a big Ko-fi order drop today at the post office. So if you're waiting in the UK, it should be with you tomorrow. If you're waiting internationally, they're in the system. By the time this video goes up, they are in the system. I will have dropped them off at the post office, and we just have to wait. Thank you to everybody who did order from me from my Ko-fi shop when I put a huge dump of needle minders and bags in. Very, very much appreciated. I will be filling the shop again, possibly a few bits this week, and then a big dump when I'm off. I'm not off. I'm off the week after next, and at the moment I've got 11 days off, but I possibly am going to ask to pick up a shift at the end. I've got the Sunday of the week before off, the full 7 days, and currently Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday off. I'm going to see if I can pick up a shift somewhere in those, because it makes my hours very low for that week. Beside the point. Anyway, this week I've got quite a fair chunk of stitching done. For the week 6,033. So last week I was down somewhere stupid land, wasn't I? It was really low last week. Let me just get my year to dates up. Oh no, last week was 5,200. So I've done 800 stitches more last week than the week before. So that was not too bad. Not too bad. Anyway, I still fill in my book diligently every day, and I added a new book to my system, and it's beautiful. I did explain it in a bit that I will tag on, but here is my new book. Isn't it just beautiful? This is going to be my long dog book. I have not yet dared to write in it. I'm still figuring out how my pages are going to go. So at the moment my long dog pages like this. That will all be put beautifully into this notebook, and then from then on, once I've got my pages laid out correctly, how I want to lay them out, from then on I will use this book and not that piece of scrappy paper that is getting bleached by the sun. Anyway, I know I already talk about my notebook in the little clippy bit, because my long dog spin thing kind of went for it. My long dog spin thing. Yeah, that was that's going really well, shall we say. The rest of my stitching it feels like it's suffering slightly, as expected. But I'm not worried about this month's Whip Go goals. As I say, I've got 10 days off at the end of the month. It's the 3rd week of the month. So I'm not overly bothered because I know I can pull some big numbers on days that I'm off work. So if I've still got 2,000 stitches outstanding on my Bountiful bookshelf, I'll just get them done. I'll get them done. I've got the fly that is between me and the camera and I can't quite, it's driving me bananas. Anyway. So yesterday was a bit scattery. I was off work yesterday. I actually stitched on 7 different projects yesterday and I felt a little scattered. But I kind of want to stitch all the things, so I'm literally like butterflying between everything at the moment, which is fine, there's only one paper pattern, everything else is in Pattern Keeper. So I think I'm just going to dive in and show you where I am. I'll show you my 4 whip goes. Right, so, and I'll show you that one last. Okay, so my 4 Seasons Girls, which is my Barbara Anna, I've finished winter. I'm going to need something behind these. I finished winter and I finished spring. Why is the light terrible? It's quite bright in here. I feel like the light's terrible. So I started my summer and there she is. Little tiny, oh, got my needle, like my thread right in it. Little tiny start in summer there. This I've put in my work bag to be my work project, and then I realised that I wouldn't get it done in time if I just stitched on it for like the 15-20 minutes left of my break after I've gubbed down some food. So I know I need to stitch on her as well because her skirt's full coverage like the other girls. But I have put in 275 stitches into her, so she has got a little bit of a start. Just a little bit of a start. Done some of her hair, some of her face. And I've started I obviously kind of placed the garland where I wanted it and started at the top of the garland. So that's the first one. So I need to finish all of her. Ariel, I've been stitching mostly black stitches in Ariel actually. Last time I filmed, she looked like this. This is the Mandy Manzano full coverage. She's on 16 count, so it's beautifully easy stitching. I actually woke up, I didn't turn my early alarm off the other day, yesterday. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. So I was awake at 20 to 4, rather annoyingly. And of course it was light. So I put the telly on and I watched Sarah the Stitching Mummy's weekly update, which had just uploaded. And I stitched black. Black on antique white. I hope it's not white fabric because otherwise it's really filthy. And I basically filled in a block of black stitching and then went back to sleep until my 6:30 alarm. So I inadvertently did stitches on this one in the middle of the night, which is fine. Did I just show you a picture? Yeah, last time I filmed it looked like this. Today it looks like this. So I have put a few green stitches in down here. I worked in the park threads, and now I'm just trying to these blocks here. This is what I mean by a block of black. That's all just going to be black, and these are just going to be black. So I've just kind of left them to do. But I came all the way down the side here, and I did some 317. I think it's 317, or it might be 415. Anyway, it's dark grey in here as well. This part of her tail is blacks and greys, really, even though it's green. This is one that you've got to trust the process. There's a lot of green in her skin, like her arm there. You can see there's a lot of green in her skin. There's green here. It just looks like skin. you gotta trust the process with this one. So yeah, so her tail will curl all the way down this fabric. It will fit onto this fabric, this piece. Well, it'll fit to there. So this last week I've done 1113 stitches into Ariel, and I've got a good hank of black. This is actually, I can actually put, now I've got all my pieces together, I can put this is waiting to go back onto my treasure hunt bookshelf because I've used up all my black that I hung. So I cut more black, but because I'm stitching black in here, it's currently hanging over my, it's currently sitting with Ariel. So there's Ariel. So she's heading to 5,000 stitches, so I've done 1,100 of them, so that's not too bad. Bountiful bookshelf I've picked up. I put a few lengths into. I do need to serge the edges of this. This is also 16 count, but it's a piece of ungridded Ada, so I'm kind of gridding it as I go, and I've got a mistake. Bear in mind that I have stitched both corners. So I started here, went spit spot spitty when I could still do and keep up with Full Coverage Fanatics prompts and things, and then I came over here and then randomly, I haven't gone, I think the corner is here, I haven't done the bookshelf around the edge, I've just got to the corner of the book there, and then I started filling it back that way, so it is, that bit is fully stitched, which for me is quite weird because I don't normally do that. Anyway, long story short here, I gridded this a very long time ago. We're talking 5 years ago. Oh, I need to talk about that. And here, this column here that my finger is in, I don't know if you can see just by looking at it, that's 11 stitches wide, not 10. So all the way down here, I've got an extra line in. So what I'm going to do on the edge of this book here, where the dark, oh it's here, it's between this spine and this spine, where there's the dark line kind of between, you can see here on these two, there's sort of a dark line between the books. Here I'm going to just double, I'm going to double up my line. So whatever's touching this line will get two stitches width. So there'll be a double line. It will never show. And if it's in the middle of a book down here, I'll figure it out. That's for 4 years' time's problem, isn't it? It's not for today. So for today's problem here, I'm just going to double up this line as I get to it. And I'm going to, before I take this back upstairs, I'm going to use my pen and I'm going to draw the double line for myself so that I'm well aware of what I'm doing. Silly me, but hey ho. There's no way I'm fixing that. I'm just gonna make do with that because it's right in the middle, and it was a mistake I made a very long time ago. 11 stitches wide. Oops. And I've stitched all the way across it. There's no way I can say, right, well I started here. Oh, there's only this much stitching that's one stitch too far this way. No, there's that. I'm just gonna fiddle it in. So Bountiful Bookshelf so far has only had 444 stitches put into it. I've currently pulled 317 and a lot of this above this book and above here, which is between the books and the bookshelf. A lot of that is 317, so I'm going to put in a few hundred stitches up here in 317, and then I'm going to carry on picking out colours in this book spine here. I have switched this to max colour, so it seems to be overlaid very well, what I've stitched already, overlaid on top of the max colour version. So everything going forwards is max colour. So I'm hoping that we'll get a little bit more definition with it being max colour. I'm hoping like this picture here would have been sharper, and the letters would have been a little bit sharper had they had more colours in them. Max colour, regular size, tends to just give you better definition because there's more subtle changes in colour. There's a lot more changes of colour, but you go from 90 colours to 240 colours, so there's a lot more ninja stitches, there's a lot more like individuals, but the definition should be very much better. And I think I'll be a lot happier with it. You can see these two books, you can see what they are, they're beautiful, but the definition in it could be better, couldn't it? So like this one here, you can almost see it, and I'm hoping with the max colour we'll just get a little bit more definition. Plus I preferred the picture because it didn't have the notes, it didn't have the notes with the quotes on it, so I'm much preferring just the books. Not that I'm anywhere near any of those, but when I get to them I'll be happy with that. Now, Stitching Goddess, my tiny modernist, one of two tiny modernists I have going. I have this one and I have the Fantastical Greenhouse, which is totally shelved for now, but I will totally finish it. My Stitching Goddess is here. I started her a very long time ago. Another very old whip. This one's pulled 3 of this whip go pulled 3 of my 2019/2020 whips, which is really nice. I really want her out of the way now, this Stitching Goddess. She's lovely and I'm really enjoying finishing her off. If I hadn't been so bloody crap at stitching when I started her, the counting is awful. It's terrible. Everything is out of place. Nothing is where it should be, and I'm not even kidding. I have had to fudge so much of this because my counting was so terrible, and I wasn't going to take any out. I just fudged it because nobody but me knows. So the last time I filmed, it looked like this. This time it looks, oh, there's the eyeballs. I must do the eyeballs. This time it looks like this. She is glorious, isn't she? And I've basically finished anything that was up here. I think I put in most of all of this rabbit, I think, who is not fitting very well in the space he was left. I stitched a goose yesterday. He needs an eyeball and a wing. And then some of these red flowers. I've got 2 strands of this red hanging off the bottom. There's lots of this red in the flowers at the bottom. I did finished off these flowers. We're just waiting for the highlights and the breasts of the robins and the leaves here, the petals here. I've still got a leaf, 2 flowers and these leaves to go. Might do those today. And my hedgehog needs an eye still, and then I've got everything down. It basically does like this here, goes right to the corner with stuff. So I've got this corner of stuff to go, and then I've got everything on that side apart from half a squirrel and a rabbit of stuff to go. So I've put in 1049 stitches so far, so I've probably got at least another 1500 stitches to finish her, I should think, because the only big thing stitched there is the bunny. I've got another goose. It's a mirror image basically, so probably it's more, and then the bottom probably about 2000, I should think. But I'm really happy with her. Now I went last night to pick up this green here, 164. Can I find 164? I cannot. So I pulled the nearest DMCs to it. I pulled some old anchors. I thought it'll do. And they're really, really different colours. So I suddenly remembered that I have a full set of dodgy threads bought from Amazon. Dodgy Chinese threads, not CXC, something else, not quite CXC. And this morning when I got up, I got the 164 out. It's polycotton, so it's slightly fluffier, and it is slightly brighter than the existing 164. So here is my Chinese 164 and here's DMC 164. Now I'm assuming that was DMC 164. I can't remember because I might have just said, oh, I've got this green, it's an old anchor, it'll do, because I used to do that before I had a full master. This is very much pre-master set. In fact, some of these colours I will have bought will have basically helped start my master set. That's how old this is. Anyway, I'm going to persist. None of it is on the other side, so we're not going to tell too badly what's what. So I've pulled me, you can see, look, it's Flippy 164. And I'm going to finish that off with that because I have that and that's fine. So there's my Stitching Goddess. Now, while I was looking for that this morning, something fell into my hand that I've been sent as a gift, and I went, oh, lovely. I'm never going to use this. Be Stitch Me. Isn't it beautiful? It is called Pumpkin Patch. Adelaide, this is your fault. I blame you totally. And I also blame you for any subsequent pigeon coop So I'm just editing and I realised I said Pigeon Coop Designs, which is another website I can't go near. I meant Autumn Lane Stitchery, which, yeah, I should never have gone on. Designs that I might have to purchase because I had not been on that website before. I'd avoided it like the plague. Helen D stitches them. And I go, oh, that's so pretty. I'm not going to go there yet. So I went on the website. When you start your Witch's Hollow, Adelaide, I will start it with you, okay? Because this piece of 16 count Ada, which is super lovely stitching for me, 16 count's marvellous. It fits on about half of it. So I'll stitch it on about half of it. And then we may or may not stitch the other one together too. But let me know when you're starting it, because I will start it with you, because I found this piece of pumpkin patch that when initially, this is not my aesthetic. We all know this is not my aesthetic, but I also adore Halloween pieces. I've got a Halloween piece just there actually. I will just get it. This is a Lakeside Needlecraft here. It was a Halloween stitch along. I think it was 2017, 2018. I obviously stitched mine in 2020. It's got glow in the dark, it's got neon, it's awful. It's on a piece, I mean, it's awful to stitch with. It's on a piece of their 36 count. It's also called Pumpkin. Fabric Flare. You can see the Fabric Flare little logo printed. Absolutely glorious. So he's there and finished. And I think this and this will sit marvellously together as Halloweeny pieces. It's in the worst piece of plastic in the world. I'm trying not to crunkle it. But there we go. That's what it is. And thank you so much for my wonderful gift for the piece of fabric that I looked at and went, I don't really use orange. Well, yes I do. And it's going to get used and it's lovely. And I looked at it with completely different eyes and went, right Adelaide, because I literally just watched Adelaide. I went, right, it's your fault then. This is on you. You have enabled me. I will take that back as you're doing Gone to Pieces and I will do Witch's Hollow. Okay? We're as bad as each other. And it doesn't matter, does it? It's just brilliant. That's what this community does. So anyway, yeah, I haven't bought it. What I will say is the PDFs are £9, 9 British pounds. That is nothing for a pattern, nothing at all. That's really not very much. I'm more than happy to purchase downloads. Tonight we ride. The other one that Adelaide's going to stitch is I don't like that as much, but I could very easily be coerced into stitching that on the other half of that fabric. But I'm going to start with the Witch's Hollow, and I haven't bought. No, I'm just going to bide my time. I'm going to bide my time. But as soon as you say you're going to start it, I'll start it with you, and we'll chug that one together. We've got lots of the same pieces actually. So yeah. What else can I show you? I've shown you those. I've shown you that one that I'm going to do. I'll show you Treasure Hunt Bookshelf had a bit of a bum week. Bit tidy, kind of got one thread, sometimes only 20 stitches of an evening. I'm going to move and do I know I said I would do it last week, but up here where the night is, this window here in that book, I'm going to move it today to there because I'm getting a bit blah with doing the black. And that's fine. Whenever I get a bit blah with doing the black, I just change it up and do some colour. So my black's here. I've literally stitched this little bit this week. I think not very much at all. It's had a whole 545 stitches into it this week. Not a lot, and I think it's mostly here. And a few other little twiddly bits here and there. I've had a cat sleeping on this. I took Eric home on Monday. I had Eric for 12 days. He was getting a bit bold, a bit brassy with the other cats. He was like, oh, clearly I'm here now, so I'm gonna decide I'm gonna be the boss. And no, Eric, you're not the boss. Stop it. Behave yourself. So I took him back to Grandma and Grandpa. Grandma's like, Grandma is my mum. The minute literally the day I had Maddie, I no longer called them mum and dad. I called them Grandma and Grandpa. They're my parents, but I've got 4 kids, so we call them Grandma and Grandpa. She picked him up and she went, "Oh, my baby, you're so tiny." Eric with his big round belly, you know, and like a leg sticking out in each corner. He'd lost weight being with us. Eating only 3 pouches a day and whatever he could snaffle, he lost weight. He eats a lot with them, I think, but he's so happy. He was very pleased to get in the cat box. This is a cat who hates the cat box. He was very pleased to get in the cat box. He had no problem. He went in the cat box, no problem at all. "Thank you very much. Please take me home." He sat in the car a bit grumpy, and then as we pulled into their into their area, he sort of sat up, and he was like, "Am I back? Am I back?" And I pulled into their street, and he was like, "Oh, oh," and he was literally like, "Oh, I'm home, I'm home." You should have seen him. He was so funny, so funny. Right, other stitching I can show you is my long dog samplers, to which I'm going to insert a clip, because I'm going to do that, because I did take a clip of me doing my spin thing, which I'm thoroughly enjoying. Sorry, I've got a bleb on my finger. You know where your needle catches your finger, just there. That's my underneath hand, so I get a little loop there, and I also get a little bit on my thumb, just there. It gets a bit painful because your needle jabs it. Anyway, I was just picking that off. Sorry, that's what I was doing while I was looking down and going pick, pick, pick. Right, grab my Saga. I'll insert the clip here. Hi guys, so it is Saturday, July the 5th, 20 past 8 in the evening, and I've popped on because I'm clearly going to have to add a new little part to my Flosstube, which is my long dog spin thing, because yeah, 1,000 stitches into my pointed fifth, it has happened in 2 days. I don't think my 1,000 stitches is always going to be this quick. I am off work today, but this is irresistible to me, my pointed fifth. So I think I took a photo when I spun it, and I'll show you what I did. It is coming out of the Q-snap because this is going to be put away. I've got 2 new things to show you as well. Not long dogs, but very much related. So I had a couple of threads hanging down here in this bottom corner, which I worked in first. So a few extra stitches have just gone in around about somewhere here. And then I came up here and I said I was going to work into the turquoise, which I have done. And basically I have put in the stitches here. So that this line here was where we were, and I've stitched down here, and I've stitched down this bit down to here. So there, and just a few, like 30 or 40, I just literally used up the thread I had, went in there, and that's it. That's my 1,000 stitches done. So my pointed fifth is the first to get the 1,000 piece spin, and I have got today, I went and got a basket to put my long dogs in. However, they aren't all going to fit because I've got more of them than I thought. So here's my basket, and there is some, you can see some of the project bags there. Some of them are in project bags, some of them need to find project bags, but the idea is that they all sit in there, and when they spin up, I've got project bags for some of them. I'm not sure where they're hiding. Anyway, Pointed Fifth has got a project bag that is in the living room or somewhere or other, so he will get put together with his threads and popped away, unless it spins again now. So I bought a basket, and I've also bought something that is most wonderfully marvellous. What have I just done with it? Here, you know when you're of the mindset that a new notebook will solve everything, I need a long dog sampler, my year in long dogs book, to go with my journal thing that I'm recording my stitches in. So I went into Waterstones, which in the UK is a very, very big bookstore. It's like a big chain bookstore, but it's well known for being wonderful. Most big cities have a Waterstones. Most large towns have Waterstones. And I had a Christmas voucher that I have traded with my son for cash, because although he's into reading and books and things, he's not yet at the point where he wants to go and purchase books himself from Waterstones. So I went in there with the voucher. I did have to add a little bit of extra money. Maddie took me to the display and went, "This is what you need. I'm going to go and find a book." I had a nice morning out with Maddie, basically. I'm going to go and find a book I need to read. So it obviously disappeared. And this display stand, a big tall rotating display stand with 4 sides, had notebooks from A6 down to the size I've bought. Beautiful, beautiful books. And I basically let the book choose me. Let me show you my year in Long Dogs, a year in Long Dogs, I think it is, book. Can you see the wonderfulness of this notebook? This is going to be my Long Dog Sampler notebook. Now, it has 2 little clasps on it. It's the only thing I nearly didn't get it because of the clasps, but look at this. It's embossed, it's beautiful, it is lined. The paper is a 120 GSM, I think. It's really nice paper. It's really smooth paper. Each of my Long Dogs is going to have 3 or 4 pages, and it's going to have, I'm going to print out a cover sheet, the cover sheet from the pattern basically, and you know, sort of A6 size, and that's going to be the paste on the page of each Long Dog. And then inside it's going to have where it's at when it goes into the book, so either a new start or like pointed fifth, this many stitches out of this many stitches, and so many % complete. And then each time it gets spun and gets worked on, I'm basically going to write the date it got spun. I'm going to write how many stitches obviously I stitched into it, its new percentage, and I'm going to write oh crikey, it's got out of my brain the other thing I was going to write, like how many stitchy like days, how many times I stitched on it. So like pointed fifth, I stitched on it yesterday and I stitched on it today. 400 and change yesterday, 600 and change today. So I've done 1028 into my pointed fifth in 2 days. That's how much I love that piece. So they're all going to go in here. I don't think I'm going to put them in any specific order. I'm not going to shuffle them into when I started them. I'm just going to list them. It might even be in Pattern Keeper order. And then I think I'm probably going to put like a little line of tabs, probably along the top, so that I can find, so that, you know what, I'm not going to do that because it's got a ribbon. It's got a ribbon, so when whichever Long Dog gets spun, I will just simply find my place and record the date it spun, and then I can start doing it. So I've got a little bit of prep work. I have to work out yet how I want to lay out the page, because I want them all to look the same, and this is going to be my ongoing Long Dog Sampler, my year in Long Dogs book. Absolutely love it. It was an expensive notebook, but I was going to buy a £20 bullet journal from Amazon, so this was a little bit more. I did use a token, which I have swapped for cash with my child. So wonderful. So I need to do another spin thing, which I'm going to go and record now, and I will put it in when I get back in 2 seconds. Right, I'm going to put my spin up here. I'm really happy. So I don't need to use my Q-snap for this because it has spun Fishy Goings On, which is pretty wonderful. And I can't remember which one's which. That's brilliant. Give me a moment. Right, I'll pretend I knew the answer to that. This one here is Fishy Goings On. This glorious one here, and it's currently at 3.22%, which isn't very much. This is 500 odd stitches, so with 1,000 stitches into it, we might even be at 10%. which is quite wonderful, isn't it? So this is a piece of fabric that I was gifted. It's called Belladonna. It is the most marvellous purple. It's just the most marvellous purple, and I am using Aurifill for this, which is 12 weight, just like Sulky, 12 weight. And I need my little Stitch Buddy thing. And in here, this is my Aurifill. It's in the colour 2810. There we go. And I am going to use, I've also got 2810 sewing thread, which is obviously cotton, and I've got beads. So, because this is in its Q-snap that will fit the whole piece in, I'm going to put 1,000 stitches into this, and if I put a bead in, that counts as 1 stitch. Anything that gets marked off on Pattern Keeper is 1 stitch. So I'm going to go and put in 1,000 stitches to this. Not all today, because I need to put some stitches into Bountiful Bookshelf, but Fishy Goings On is my second spin, and I'm really happy. And I want to be happy every time I spin. I want to feel, oh brilliant, I want to work on this. That's how I want to feel. If I don't feel like that, there's something wrong really, isn't there? So there we go. New basket, new notebook. I'm going to start marking up my notebook soon. That's me just put my two colour thread drop onto this piece. So as you can see, the Sulky for the other one completely blends in as it should, and the other one is what I'm going to use. So I'm going to put in 1,000 stitches, and I'm going to do some beading too. Right guys, you may have another spin thing before we go to the end of the, before we cut to the next week's Flosstube. We will wait and see. I mustn't forget my whip goes too. See you soon. Good morning guys. I'm here to do my third long dog spin. It's Tuesday morning, and I would have been finished and doing this clip about half an hour ago had I not reached the point where I realised I'd made a massive mistake and had to fork out about 100 stitches. Anyway, my second long dog spin, which was Fishy Goings On, now has an extra 1,027 stitches in it. So I'm really pleased. It's coming along really well. So when I picked it up, it was barely started at 555, which was 3.22%, and now it is at 9.14%, and it is here. And I've put in some beads. Now, on balance, the beads are going to be the accents. I will show you. So there is a beaded line here. That's beaded. They don't quite behave themselves. And the beaded border, inside border, is going to be fine. I did the cable around the anchor, and then I'm doing this funky little seahorse, but the beads are just misbehaving a little bit. I think I need to get the thread just a tiny touch tighter. I was using 1 strand of the sewing thread. This is the finest sewing thread I've ever come across. I'm not even kidding. It's the Aurifill. I think I just need to use 2 strands. It's that. Ooh, there we go. Anyway, it is. I can't even show you how fine this stuff is. It is unbelievably fine. There. It is like not even half a DMC strand. It's like hair. So I think I persisted with 1 strand there. I think I just need 2 strands, and then I'll be able to tug the beads just a tiny touch tighter. I am putting them in with a full cross, so they are sitting straight up, not at an angle. I thought that would be better. But there we go. So I've got a little skull and crossbones flag turned up there. I absolutely love that. Remembering stitching, what was it? My ink circles, Castle. Oh, the one with the gargoyles. Oh my god, it was so beautiful. I stitched that on 18 count with Sulky, and it was tight. And I'd forgotten that 18 count with 1 strand of 12 weight is tight. So it is a little tight. It's a little bit of a struggle to pull it through, and the Aurifill cotton does go fluffy. So I am using, for me, a big needle. I think that's probably 24. It's too big for me, but I have to use that to get the stitches in. Anyway, very pleased, and we're going to spin again so that I can not stitch on any of my Whip Go projects, which I am as well, obviously, you know I am. And we're going to see what rolls. So I'm going to do that right now. Right, I'm going to put this up in front of whatever this cluttery crap is here. And as you can see, it's come out as Saga. We're going to put 1,000 stitches into Saga. Oh, how terrible. I'm not going to enjoy that at all, am I? Right, that's great. Saga's the only one not in my... Oh, here it is. Saga's in the pouch. The big... I made this for my supersized Max Colour Haid, which it never actually goes in there because it's out all the time. Lives on the end of the bed at the moment. So, Saga, here we go. Saga's not got a lot of work in it so far. I've just done... Hang on. All the way across. 6 stitches all the way across so far, and just started on the next colour here. So we're going to put another 1,000 stitches into this and we will see what comes out. I am on my second colour, which is a classic Colourworks, and it is Spun Sugar, and we'll see if 1,000 stitches uses this all up, how much we have left. Idea is that I do use the full skein up. We'll see. Some of the bigger skeins I might call it at the 6 stitch strip. We'll see. Only I don't want it to be like 12 stitch strip because it'll make it look a little uneven. But we're going to try and just see how far the full skein goes, and we'll do that. So that's next. So fishy goings on, back in the pile. I use my little doodad, which is pretty brilliant. Oh, and I've sorted out, beading is not an issue, obviously, but holding my beads on my work was a small issue. So I found one of my little tart tins here and put a little circle of a beadsmith mat, as you can see. And that was the one that I've cut first, freehand obviously, completely wonky, and there's a better sized one there. I stuck it in with a couple of drops of super glue, put a couple of, because it's me and I use magnets all the time, a couple of the chipped magnets on. It's insanely strong, and I can sit with it on my work and I can bead as I go, and then just put another little sprinkle of beads on as and when I need them. So I'm tinkering around with that. I'm thinking I'd like a little tiny tin that I can shut the lid on. We'll see. We'll see how I get along anyway. So anyway, I will go and do some stitching. I'll be back. Well, this will be inserted into the Flosstube that I will be recording tomorrow, because tomorrow's Flosstube day. Because today is day 7 of my week, and I'll see you tomorrow. Today at the end of the video, or wherever I insert it. I'm talking nonsense. I'm going to get on with some stitching. Bye bye. So as you can see, great progress has been made. I'm on my 3rd spin. Gosh, we love stitching on Log Dog samplers. So I can show you my progress on Saga. 309 up to yesterday, and I've stitched on it maybe 100 stitches this morning. So I'm not quite halfway there on my stitches on Saga yet, before I spin again. And you know what, I really want one of the old ones, one of the unusual ones, maybe one I've not got on my Whip Go, something I've not stitched on for a long time, maybe Castles in the Air or Count Your Blessings or something. That's what I'm hoping is going to come up, but I'm going to abide by the spin thing. Okay, so here's my Saga. So I'm just doing the 2nd row of the 6 stitches, but this is only 3 stitches deep of the second colour here, and I've gone right the way along, and I'm currently here. So I've just got to get to there, and then I'll go back to the beginning and start again. And because I was moving my frame all the time, because I'm only doing 3 stitches deep, like all the way along, working in a line, I took Amazing Animal Kingdom out of his custom long frame, and it's a custom one. I just cut the pipe for it, so I'm using 11 inch. I actually have 2 R&R clips and 2 Q-snap clips, because that's how I roll. It makes no difference, it doesn't matter. And this is poly pipe from B&Q hardware store, and pipe corners. So I made this frame. They might be 11-inch sides, but certainly the long ends are not. They're just whatever they were just whatever length I cut them. But it works just fine with the 11-inch clamps, and it gives me further. It means I can put it here. I put it here this morning, so I've done that much this morning of my 3-stitch, and then I've just got to come all the way to here, and then I'll go back and I'll do the other 3 stitches. I'm on Classic Colourworks Spun Sugar. The skein is getting smaller. I would say, and I've done this to myself because I just cut them. I cut the loops at the bottom of the skeins. They're too short for me. I could really have done with them, but it would have been such a faff. There's like over 100 of these. But if I'd have left them double length, that would be too long. I needed them in between, so I would have had to have unwound each skein, customed it to I'm about what, 16, 17, 18 inches, I think is what I like. These are not quite that long, because it's double that, but it's not quite that long. They're a little short. I'm constantly threading my needle, which is fine. I do need, if I can find a couple extra needles, I'll preload 3, and then that makes it go much faster. Doesn't help that this needle's got a bent eye, so it's very hard to thread. So I need to throw this needle away and get 3 new ones, which, I can totally do, but probably won't. So anyway, Saga's coming along, and I'm going to settle in and get some stitches done today into Saga, and be all good. So today is just a day of sort of pottering about, tidying up. I've got the whole day. I don't need to do a school run. I'm only going to go to the post office. Richard said that he thinks he'll be able to walk into town, which is a 10-minute walk from here. We went to the big supermarket, Morrison's, which is probably over there. My bearings here are terrible. We walked yesterday to pick up one of his prescriptions and get some lunch, and it takes, we amble, but he's so confident using his stick. But bear in mind, he has no vision. He's not partially sighted. He has got no sight at all, nothing. Just, it's lighter today. Like, we'll get into the living room at night and he goes, oh, I hate it, it's so dark. And it's only sunlight, natural light. A very bright, like my stitchy bulb, makes no difference to him. It's really odd. It's like really weird. It's like his brain will only detect sunlight. Very strange. Anyway, so we just walked there, and he's brilliant. He's got the long white stick with the ball on the end, and the ball rolls. So it's constantly thinking and feeling, and he's really good. So we did that, and he said afterwards, he said, I feel good, I feel all right. I said, I feel like I can we'll go into town. So I said, right, well, we'll go into town. So maybe when we've got a visit from our liaison lady, the Blind in the Community lady, who liaises between the occupational therapy and he's got a PA starting. 10 hours a week he'll be getting a PA. So when I'm at work, his PA can come and spend a few hours with him. Apparently he's an old retired chef. Well, we are hopeful that this is going to work out, because he's going to be able to take him to the gym, because exercising gives him the endorphins, which he really needs. And this is the man who's never been in a gym in his life, ever. And he's loving it, which is really good, because obviously he lost all his muscle mass in hospital, and since he got home I've just been feeding him up, just to feed him back up a bit. So he obviously needs to do some exercise. So that's really great, but equally I don't want to go in a gym either. I want to sit and, if I'm there, I want to sit and wait and stitch, and if I'm not there, I'm at work, or I can't be the one taking him today, kind of thing. So there we go. Anyway, yeah, so PA, we're going to meet the PA today. PA's coming with our liaison lady today. Basically, once he's all sorted and happy with his PA and joggling along and happy enough with everything, she will sign him off. She'll always be there if we need her, but at the moment she still visits every week just to touch base, catch up. We need to get these forms done. We need to get this funding in place. And everything's gone quite smoothly, actually. It's all okay, really. So, yeah, we'll meet the PA today. Hopefully he's going to be a nice bloke, and Rachel will like him, and we'll be fine. Because that'll ease my pressure of needing to work but wanting to be at home with Richard. So it's going to be a balance. So hopefully this will help the balance dramatically, and all will be well. We'll find out. Anyway, I'm going to go. So today's the day of pottering. I've got some thread beds to finish. I've got some needle minders to finish. I've got needle minders a month to sort out because I still haven't done those. Really sorry. I've got the posting to take to the post office. Everything's done. I just need to take them to the post office. As I say, if you've got anything outstanding, we'll get and do that. And I want to get some sewing machining done. And yesterday I started making some dragons on keys. Anyone who's been with me for a good long time might well remember that I used to make scissor fobs with dragons on keys, curled around the keys. Yeah, I'm making some more of those because I suddenly thought I really want to make them, so I'm going to make some. So I started yesterday making some of those. So they'll be, you've got to wait on me. It takes me a hot minute to make things, but they're on the way. And I have a little pile here of thread beds that just need their raggledy threads trimmed and the cat hair buffed off them. These ones, because I was using up the little scraps, these ones are folded, so I need to put a little popper on those. But they're I've got a fair few, and I've got some more that I haven't pressed yet. There's a few that are flat, so are a nice flat size. So they'll be going up by and by, and then I need to do some more resining because I've got some. I only did about 2/3 of the stamps that I'd turned into needle minders. I was going great guns, and then I stop, and then I just don't go back for ages. So I need to get back to finish off them, and yeah, we're chugging along. So I'm just going to take it easy this week, get my hours in at work, and then next week, the back end of next week, from Sunday, I'm off. So that's going to be wonderful. That was annual leave that I booked in January. So we look forward to that very much. And yeah, and I'm going to carry on with my spin thing because I'm really enjoying that. But I have to remember to stitch on my whip go too, because I do just want to stitch on long dogs, but I want to whip go as well. Especially as this month, well, she will be whip gone. She will be whip done. And that one there will be 3/4 finished. The Seasons Girls, 3/4 will be finished. And I'll try and get the 4th one done next year. But that might be a big goal. I'm going to not try and put such big goals in my whip go box next year. Because, yeah, it's quite substantial actually. Okay, talking of whip go goals, I did the spin thing before I started filming for this needle minder, the little 3 Kings. Anyone who commented on the last video, I put into the spin thing, I put it up here. Let me find my piece of paper and I'll let it chug through its thing. And as you can see, it's come out as Ellen Martin. And now Ellen's a new subscriber. I hope you're subscribed, Ellen. I'm sure you are. It sounds like you did. Who's come over from other people who've shouted me out. Thank you to people who shouted me out. I'm rubbish at doing it myself, but I do watch a lot of Flosstube and watch a lot of people. Yeah, so Ellen, if you want to contact me, either on Instagram or email me, it's in the description box how to get in touch with me. And that needle minder is yours. No needle minder this week because I have not finished my Renato Parolin oval cushion. It's looking at me needing its back stitch done. I will try and get that done this week. It just fell by the wayside. I picked up my new shiny Whip Go projects and thought, yay, let's do those. It's still on the back of the sofa, waiting to be finished. Oops. So when I do get that finished, we'll fill the box and that will be the end of a Whip Go box. So there'll be a giveaway there. Oh, and last week, the 5th of July, turns out when I filmed, that was my 5-year Flosstube anniversary. I've been on Flosstube for 5 years. Wow. I didn't used to post a video every week. I think this is the first year where I've consistently done it every week. Sometimes it's 2 weeks, sometimes it was 3 weeks. In the beginning it was like 3 or 4 weeks between the videos. So it's been a very long chug for me. 5 years in, I'm at 3,700 subscribers, so I'm still half a year away from 4,000 subscribers, which is fine, because what I said I would give away for my 4,000 subscriber giveaway, I'm not close to making yet, so mine is coming along, but there's nothing I can really show you yet because it's still just a few bits of bland crochet, but I'll get there. And 5 years, huh? That's quite a while. It's part of my life. You know, this really is part of my life. But the weirdest thing is that nobody knows. My family, my people I live with know. I told Richard almost straight away because that was just I was in the middle of Flossmas. You know, it was like I needed to tell him that I had quite an unusual hobby. The light's just fixed. The sun just come round or something. The light's just gone bing. I think the sun is just trying to break out of a cloud or something. The light's just gone so much better. Nobody I work with knows. Nobody at any of the last 2 jobs I've worked knows. I don't have real life people I meet in real life. You know, it's my thing. They know I cross stitch. People I work with, they know I cross stitch, and they go, "Oh crikey, what's this? What's this?" And I'll be like, "Oh, I'm doing a challenge. I change my projects out every month," and then I have to say something like, "Oh, I'm in a Facebook group," you know, and it's like, do you know what I mean? It's very separate for me. I don't mean it to be, it's just how it is. There we go, 5 years. 5 years. 5 years in a week now, 5 years in one video. I just forgot to say last time. I did know last time because I got a, YouTube sent me a notification to say, "Do you know it's been 5 years since you posted your first video?" And I thought, crikey, is it? And then I immediately filmed my Flosstube and didn't mention it. But yeah, 5 years, huh? Cool. Anyway, on we go. I'm just going to keep on going. I'm just going to keep on posting up my videos with all my cross stitch on them. And there we go. I've got Saga in my hand. I'm guessing I'm about to start stitching on Saga. I will see you next week, guys. Very probably Wednesday again, because I'm off Tuesday, Wednesday, exactly the same next week as I've been off this week. And I should get my week stitching in, and I will see you then. I think I'm done. Bye-bye.